Hello friends, welcome to HTML tutorials. Let us learn about what is HTML and the basics of HTML. HTML is a client-side scripting language. HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. Here, the hyper refers to the link or the navigation and the text refers to any data. Markup refers to the predefined content and the language refers to communication. HTML makes use of predefined tags to design a web page, which are also called as markup tags. Because of which HTML is not a programming language, but it is a markup language. Let us see what are the software required for the HTML document. We does not require any special software to write or design a HTML document. We need two major software. One is the text editor, which is the Notepad, Notepad++, Sublime or any. And the second one is the web browser, which is the Google Chrome, Mozilla Firefox, Internet Explorer or any. The HTML file should be saved with an extension which is the .html or .htm. We should keep all these things in mind to design an HTML page without any errors. Now, let us study the parts in the HTML document. Before writing any HTML document, we should know what are the important parts in any HTML document. Let us move to our text editor. In my case, I am using the Sublime text editor because it is very easy and convenient to use. This is the structure of any HTML document. The doc type tag tells the web browser that this is an HTML document. Now let's move to the HTML tag. The content between these two tags, that is the HTML open and the close tag, are the content defined in this web page. It is further divided into two major parts, the head tag and the body tag. Now let us go to the body tag. The content coming in the body section is known as the visible parts or the content which are visible on the web page. Now let us go to the head section. The content coming in head section are known as the invisible parts or the property of the HTML document. This content is not visible on the web page but is given some important properties which we will study later. Before moving further, let us learn about the editors. In our case, we are going to use the Sublime text editor, which is freely downloadable over the internet. You can download it on free. I'll show you that process. Just search for Sublime and then go on for the first link, the Sublime text, and then just click on the download for Windows. Let us see the features of Sublime text editor. Before I told you that the Sublime is free and easy to use, I'll show you why. Just open the tag and just type H. When you type H, you will get a list of tags which are available with the letter starting with H. This is the suggestions which are available. For example, HTML, head, header, H1, H2. These are all the tags which are starting with the letter H. Now just when I click on enter, you will get the whole structure of the HTML document. This is the basic structure of an HTML document. So I'll show you another example also. I'll show an example of an anchor tag which is A. See, again I got a list of tags which are starting with the letter A. A, acronym, address, everything which are starting with A. So when I click on enter, I even got a complete structure for an anchor tag. Now let us learn about the elements and the attributes. What is an element? An HTML element usually consists of a start tag and an end tag with the content inserted in between. I will explain you with an example. Okay, now we'll make use of an P tag. The P tag is also known as a paragraph tag. As it is told, it is of a start and an end tag with some data inserted in the between. Now here, this is an element. An element consists of a start tag and an end tag with some content in between them. Now let's study what is an attribute. All HTML elements can have attributes. Attributes provide additional information about an element. Attributes are always specified in the start tag. Start tag is also known as the open tag. Attributes usually come in the name value pairs, like name is equals to value. Now let's take an example of an anchor tag. Here the href is an attribute. As I told you, what's an element? An element consists of an open tag, a closed tag, with some of the other content in the between. And here the attribute is the href, which gives an additional information about this full element. Now let us study what is headings. Heading is basically the description of the content in a web page in 2 to 3 words or in few words. In HTML, there are 6 tags which describes an heading. The first one is the h1 tag, the next is h2, the third one is h3, the fourth is h4, the fifth is h5, and the last one is the h6. The size of the font of the heading is inversely proportional to the name of the tag. When it is h6, it is the smallest of the font, and the h5 is the smaller, and likewise. So when we compare the h6 tag and the h5 tag, h6 is smaller than h5, and when it goes to h4, h5 is smaller than h4, h4 is smaller than h3, h3 is smaller than h2, h2 is smaller than h1. Basically, h1 is the biggest one and h6 is the smallest one. Now let's see an example of it. I'll go for h1 tag. Now I'll heading 1, okay? I'll given content as heading 1. So we can, the additional feature of in Sublime is we can run the code from here itself. Okay, now you can see here the content is heading 1 and it is the biggest one. Now I'll show an example of the smallest one, that is the h6. h6 heading 6. Now again let's run it. See, I hope you got the difference. The h1 tag is the biggest one and the h6 is the smallest one, as I already mentioned. I hope you got the concept. I would like to even show you another example, and I will go for h4. h4 heading 4. Now when you will observe this, you will see that the h4 is in the middle here. So the h1 tag is the biggest and h4 comes in the middle, and again the h6 is the smallest one. So this is the 6 tags, and I have shown you the 3 tags examples over here. So basically you have 6 tags which describes the heading in HTML. Usually every website contains content in the form of a paragraph. To make the paragraph more attractive or in a more paragraphic way, HTML provides a p tag, or also known as a paragraph tag. With the help of this tag, you can display your paragraph in a paragraphic way, one below the other or as we need it. Now I will show you an example for that. Okay, inside my paragraph body tag, and we'll have a p tag, which is also known as a paragraph tag. Inside this, I will give in content that this is a paragraph 1. Okay. To make the website content more informative, we always give the content in a paragraphic way, as I told it earlier. So in this, we'll use n number of paragraphs to divide the content in a paragraphic. So I have used first as a one p tag, and I will use again another one. This is a paragraph paragraph 2. So when I run this, the first content, that this is a paragraph 1, will be in the top, and this is a paragraph 2 content will be below it with a break. So now let's save it and then run it. Okay, here we go. The first p tag, the content of the first p tag is in the first line. This is a paragraph 1, and with a break in a new line, the content of the p tag 2, that is, this is a paragraph 2, is in a new line. So this will help the website to be in a paragraphic way. Now let us study about text formatting. Usually when we see a website, some of the text in a content are given some different properties like bold, italic, or some other property is given to some specific text only. So that is the basic concept of text formatting.